Peace. What's good, family? Happy Gregorian New Year! How y'all feeling out there? 2026. Shout out my GPS in the house. Okay. Slayer from G-Stone. First up to bat in 2026. I see you. Welcome back to the God Pod with Lord Jamal. I am Lord Jamal. Happy 2026. Even though, if you really know, the New Year's is in the spring. But hey, we'll go with it. Now, did somebody in the chat say that it's been 10 years? When did I start this? When did I start this show? Did I start in 2016? Has it been that long? I don't even remember when I started this, to be honest. I don't even remember when I started. Peace, A1 Drizzy. Happy New Year. My GPS soldier, A1 Drizzy said, I think 2017. Damn. Wow. I didn't realize that. Time goes by. So, hang on. If I started, I know it's not a new year, but we're going to just play along with the rest of the world, right? If I started in 2017, let's just say, I think so, it was a few years before COVID. If I started in 2017, 2016, then that means I'm almost a decade early. Because all these fucking rappers want to be podcasters now. All these rappers want to do what we've been doing. Want to go down the avenue that I've been seeing was the avenue to go down. Now, though, it's getting a little bit crowded out there. A little bit crowded out there. You see, it's funny because what I was striving to put together with me, Digga, Godfrey, was what a lot of these people are striving to do now. They're trying to put together these like super teams. You know what I mean? These teams with a combination of personalities, with the combination of known figures, known and respected figures in whatever genre that they come from, you know? Shout out to Rod Digger. Still my homegirl. I could hit her up. um, and see if she want to come on and stuff like that. But you know, especially when all that political shit happened, it was just a lot of stuff that her and I were just not on the right side of, and I didn't want to just turn it into every episode of us just arguing. I don't know if y'all enjoy us arguing, but it takes a lot of energy out of both of us when we do that. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, I'd rather not argue with my sister, than to argue with her. But no, she'd be busy too. She'd be moving around. But yes, I definitely see how I was ahead of the game. First of all, if I keep it real with you, I'm gonna keep it a thou wow. When I first had this idea of doing a podcast, right? In my mind, how I wanted to do it, and I applaud these dudes for doing it like this. But how I wanted to do it, like my set and all of that, and how I wanted to present it, is the way that Cam and Mace ended up doing their shit. That's my word, except it wouldn't have been about sports. You know what I mean? It wouldn't have been sports centric. But I wanted a set like that. I wanted to originally wear suits and shit like that. But all of that stuff, takes a fucking budget, man, that I didn't have. You know what I mean? These guys, they done went platinum and all kind of shit. They had bread to get studios and all of that. I'm just a regular old legendary rapper. But if I would have had, a budget like that, that's kind of the road, that I saw, how I saw it in my mind. Lit like that, multiple cameras. I mean, I was probably the first one to use multiple cameras on a podcast. That's another thing. When you look back at some of the early joints, when I was using the cameras, I was the first one to come with the master camera. Boom, side camera, another side camera. Shooting it like the news and all of that. You know what I mean? I think originally people thought podcasts were just about the audio. And I think the video was a secondary component. But I always saw them as one thing and felt like, they both needed attention, so the audio got to be solid and the video needs to be solid. But when you're working with those cameras, it's a lot of work, man. Especially when you don't have a full team like that. Shout out to my man Greg, who used to chop up the videos for me. I appreciate you, brother. Down in the A. Shout out to Zambian, used to do the timestamps and shit like that. Where's all my overseas people at? Well, first of all, make sure you click that like button if you're here right now in the Chizat. All my GPS family, make sure you share. Let people know that we live. And that we doing a thing. If you're new to the channel, welcome to the channel. I encourage you to subscribe, click that notification bell, and click all so that you'll be notified, hopefully, when we drop a new joint. Some people say they don't get the notifications. So can a brother join in and listen? What are we talking about here? Well, anyway, 2026. What did y'all do for your New Year's celebration? Because I just stayed in the rest. I just stayed at the crib. Wasn't running around trying to do no, wearing hats and throwing confetti and getting drunk off my ass. Just was at the crib. Right, Eli. So chilled at the crib, just another day. Shout out to the brother Eli. Member. Sleeping. See, that's what's funny. I see a lot of people, man. I don't know if it's just, when you get to a certain age, but a lot of people around my age, it's like, man, I was knocked out before that fucking ball even dropped, man. Fuck all that bullshit. Fuck all that bullshit. Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve. Fuck out of here. Chill with the family and popped a lot of champagne. Basically, yep. Basically, my wife, her family usually comes over, her sister and my brother-in-law and, my mother-in-law, my daughter was over here. Yeah, it was just a handful of people. My man said, Madman said, just me and a bottle of wine, about 5 blunts. Okay. Yeah. It was real slow motion. I remember back in the days, when New York City was Trap to Dawn. What's good? I see you. Peace, my GPS brother. So back in the days when New York was really New York, and part of the allure and cachet, should I say, of New York was that it was fucking dangerous. It was wild dangerous back then. So I remember going to Times Square to watch the ball drop. There was none of this fucking blocking the shit off and, they only letting a certain amount of people. Nah. The shit was just a free for all. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and it used to be packed. The middle of it, the side blocks, all of that shit used to be crazy. And I'm talking, this is the Times Square, right now, Times Square is what you would call like a Disneyland. You know what I mean? Like, it's very, Giuliani went there and cleaned it up. You know what I mean? 42nd Street, the Deuce, Times Square used to have a lot of, drug sales, sex sales, porn, fucking movie theaters, and just a lot of shady shit going on the Deuce in Times Square, right? So I remember being there. I'm like 14 probably, And yo, the ball dropped. When the ball dropped, yo, the whole Times Square was pandemonium. I mean, motherfuckers start running. It was almost like the ball dropping was a signal, like for some sort of robbery race or some shit to begin. Because once fucking that ball dropped, yo, motherfuckers start getting robbed. People was getting stabbed. I mean, the shit was fucking crazy. People's running into the fucking subways and all this kind of crazy shit. Like, yo, that shit was wow. That shit was wow. You just had to be there. You know what I mean? But this is the New York City that I grew up with. This is the New York City that fostered hip hop. Right, like the Purge just started. Yes, that's what it was like. Like the fucking, like they said, okay, 5, 4, let the Purge begin. And yo, it was like a purge, I think, like for some people, you know? Somebody said, did it in 86? That's right. Chris said, did it in 86 and never went back. That's my word. I never went back. Not to the deuce. You know what I mean? Like I went to other New Year's celebrations at clubs and shit like that. But as far as the day, it wasn't because I'm not going to, you know, it wasn't because I was scared to go. It just, that wasn't my idea of fun. You know what I mean? Like, first of all, it was mad, you know, it's cold. You're standing out there in the cold and, ooh, you know, you're waiting for some fucking ball to drop. Like, who decided that that's the shit anyway? You know what I mean? The type of youth I was, you know, I was down there looking for broads any damn way. You understand what I'm saying? And you can't really get your flow on in an environment like that. Everybody's too shivering. They're focused on some other shit. You know what I mean? And once the ball dropped, motherfuckers is running for their lives and shit like that. How are you supposed to pull broads under those conditions? You know? So, yeah. So I ended up going to better shit, you know, as time went on. Like, I remember going to the Fun House one year, right? P. Zambian. That's all right. He said, oh, man, the show already started? It's really good. Yes, sir. Happy New Year, my brother. Or Happy Gregorian New Year. We know the real New Year is in spring, April 1st. But we're going to play along with the rest of the world. And, you know, if it's a positive energy right now, then let's ride that positive energy wave. But yeah, I was just talking about going to Times Square to watch the ball as a youth and how crazy it was. Oh, so anyway, so I went to the Fun House one year for New Year's. The Fun House was a club on the west side. I forget what street the Fun House was on. But anyway, I know you could walk from the Fun House to the Roxy's. That's what we used to do a lot. If the Fun House wasn't popping, we'd go to the Roxy's. Or if we couldn't get into the Fun House, we'd go to the Roxy's. But anyway, I went to the Fun House one night on New Year's fucking Eve. And it happened to be a classic night because that was the night that Run DMC was there, right? Tell me if anybody was there. Run DMC was there, and that's when they recorded fucking Here We Go, Here We Go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. DMC and DJ Run. When they did that shit off the big beat, I was there. I was there. It was New Year's at the Fun House. I was there. Was you there? Because I was there. Okay? And like I told you, back then I was on my Grizzly. I remember I pulled something bad that night. I pulled me a bad little shorty from like Long Island or some shit. Yeah. Hang on. Zambia said New Year's in spring. Oh, them's fighting words. The Ethiopian calendar says the New Year Kutatash. Am I saying that? Enkutash. Wait. Enkutatash. I hope I said that right. Is on September 11th. Okay. The Ethiopian calendar. I'm not really sure how the seasons work in Ethiopia as far as summer, winter, spring, and fall. But here in America, the spring, which means, when things renew, when things spring to life, is March, April. Now, I don't know the science of the Ethiopian calendar. You're probably correct. I don't know if spring is in September in Ethiopia. I don't know. But that's interesting. That's interesting. I'd like to know more, Zambian. If you want to come on and talk about it, share with the class what you know. The link is always the same. I'm going to put the link in the chat. In case y'all forgot. There it is. If you want to come up and build on New Year's traditions around the world, or the science of when, because New Year's is different. There's the Chinese New Year. Now I'm being told there's an Ethiopian New. I mean, I should have known about some shit like that. I don't even know why I feel like I haven't even heard about that. But of course, there isn't one calendar. We know that the devil messes with the calendar to try to prolong his time on the planet Earth. It's said that the devil has limited time on this earth. So there's a lot of fuckery that goes on as far as time and dates and leap years and all this fucking bullshit to try to get him a little more time. But yeah, the reason I say it's in the spring, Zambian, is because and Zambian, for those that y'all don't know, is Agnalum one, but we know him as truly Zambian. For some reason, it's putting a lot of people's government names instead of what their tag is. I don't know why it started doing that. But anyway, the new year should be when things renew. You know what I mean? Not in the middle of fucking winter when it's just fucking cold and there is no new life. Nothing new comes to life during this time of year. I mean, you have the winter solstice, you know, which you know is showing a transference of seasons and an equilibrium in time or whatever. But yeah. Oh wait, hang on. Stop the presses because I saw a lot of shit talking about this, but it can't be what's going on. Silk Child 75, thank you. 2026, corny ass Nicki Minaj getting deported. LOL. Oh, okay, that's what you're. I thought you said she is getting deported, but you're joking like she might get deported. Ain't that some crazy shit? She said some shit in support of Trump, and now everybody is on her ass. They on her ass. The same Democratic Party that tells you to respect and protect the black woman now is dropping dimes on Nikki, talking about she an illegal alien and all kind of fucking shit and calling ICE on her. Yo, this shit is crazy. This shit is crazy. Yeah, that's some funny shit. Shout out Nicki Minaj saying some shit, some common sense shit, and y'all motherfuckers is mad. Fuck out of here. Uncivilized Savage, thank you. He said, peace, God. What's your New Year resolution? Well, I'm glad you asked me that because I was going to ask y'all that. For a lot of people, the New Year's resolution is to go to the gym. But as you can see, that's me this morning. So that can't be it. That can't be it. Because I've been doing that already. One of my main New Year's resolutions is to get this Building 7 record out by hook or by crook, and to definitely get my directing, my film directing shit going, getting that shit more popping, adding to Silent Trigger, doing other shorts and stuff like that, and just really flexing my film muscle. Cause yeah, I see where shit be going. So that's my somebody said Jamar on that new Balco. What is Balco? Is that a steroid or something like that? That's funny. You know, if you were to believe that I was on steroids, that's almost flattering. I want to say thank you if you think that. But no, I don't use anything. Only thing I use is you saw those bands that was on my arms and shit. Those bands like help build up. Damn, I had this blanket on. And now I'm seeing a bunch of fucking white shit on my fucking hoodie. I'm just noticing it. I'm sorry, y'all. Those bands on my arms, they trap the lactic acid and it gives you more of a burn, and it's supposed to make, help muscle growth happen, I guess, a little faster. But yeah, come on. I don't use artificial sweeteners, motherfucker. So you know I ain't using no goddamn steroids or Balco or whatever the fuck you talk about. Oh shit, we got Compton in the house. Compton. To live another year with great health. Okay, that's your New Year's resolution. Well, it's not going to happen just by accident. In order to live another year with great health, you have to do things actively in order to make sure that you have great health. You have to eat right. You have to exercise. You have to be thinking clearly, number one. Yeah. Uh, they say LeBron on Balco. I don't know. Okay. Silent Trigger was fired just too short. Yeah, Silent Trigger was just, just a proof of concept. It was just to show that I know what the fuck I'm doing. Shout out to my man Roman, that I'm clicked up with real filmmakers and that we understand lighting and technique and, because a lot of people will say shit, rappers will say that they want to do this and that, but do they really know what the fuck they're doing? No, a lot of times they don't. So Silent Trigger was just a quick little thing to show, if you know type of shit. So now, we want to expand on that. We want to expand on that. Parrish, I don't know what you talking about. Peace to you. I'm great, y'all. Okay, is that part of your New Year's resolution, annual doctor checkups? I mean, here's the thing. Dealing with doctors doesn't necessarily mean you're dealing with health. Right? Because these Western doctors are not necessarily here to make you healthy. They're here to support the pharmaceutical industry. Now, what I will give Western medicine, right? You know what they're good at? Dealing with trauma, right? So if you get shot, if you get stabbed, some shit like that, they're good at dealing with shit like that. If you had a heart attack or, you need a surgery and all that, they're good at that type of stuff, right? But when it comes to keeping you healthy and, they'll give you poison foods in the hospital. They'll literally give you poison foods in the hospital. Remember when my pops was in the hospital? And I'm like, yo, what the fuck y'all giving them some of this bullshit for? Like, I forget what they was giving them. Might have been some sugary shit or some ice cream or some dumb shit. And I'm like, yo, he got blood pressure and, you know what I mean? High blood pressure and all that. Why would you give him shit like that? It's like y'all motherfuckers want people to be sick. A1 Drizzy said, I've been shot before. Well, shit, I'm glad you're still here, my brother. Now, in some countries, a gunshot could be a death sentence. You know what I mean? But here in America, motherfuckers get shot so much. Motherfucker get shot every day. B, you be all right. This is where this is a country where, yeah, they deal good with trauma. But as far as like going to see a doctor every year, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't fuck with doctors like that. I don't trust them. I don't trust them. I just do everything in my power to be healthy and limit the odds of having to see a doctor. Right? So that means eating the right shit. That means keeping yourself active. That means thinking positive thoughts. Some of y'all motherfuckers will scare yourself into a disease. Huh? Some of y'all motherfuckers, seriously. Like you can mentally give yourself some shit if you worry enough. So, yeah. Medical apartheid is real. Facts. They said Pfizer is bigger than Nino Brown, Alpo, and BMF. Who you telling? Stress kills. It absolutely does kill. Absolutely does kill. 77 figures said emergency, of course, see a white coat. But everything else is DR. Diet doctor. Is Dr. Diet, Dr. Quiet, and Dr. Merriman. I like that. Oh, I saw that too. Rushy 87 said the amount of American food that's banned in Europe tells you everything you need to know. Stay away from the processed crap and high fructose corn syrup and all that ish. Correct. Yet they sell that shit in the hospital. They sell that shit in the hospital. What was it they had they had like a Starbucks or some shit downstairs in the hospital. Like, come on, man. Starbucks? You gotta be kidding me. Will give the opportunity for GPS to audition? Uncivilized Savage. What are we talking about? Audition for what? Exactly. Hope we don't mean audition as a rapper. But what are we talking about? Uncivilized Savage? Yep. Hospital food. There's a lot of packaged food. Salt and sugar. American food is military rations. Oh, look at the cocksucker. Hey, Dave. Suck your father's dick. Yeah. Oh, you said, will I give opportunity? Well, that's a good question, Uncivilized Savage. I probably would, man. I'm definitely big into identifying talent wherever it may come from. Okay. Shout out to my man Merchant, aka Stash Mill. He just came to visit me. What was it? Like last Saturday or something like that. We recorded a song and all this. But my man, he was locked up for a little bit and he came home and now he got his head all tattooed. He just looked interesting. Like he just looked like somebody that you would want to put in a film. You know what I mean? So when I saw him, I'm thinking, I got to get the brother. I got to get my man in one of my films, even if he don't think he's an actor. Like, I know he can do it, like whatever fucking role I get for him. So yes, I think I would actually. That would be dope to have some of y'all in it, to be honest. Um, but again, it all depends. What do you think you could bring to the table? First of all, I'm sure if we all sat down, right? If we all, everybody in the chat right now, especially the people that are here normally, if we all sat down and really talked about what we're skilled in, what we have to offer, I'm sure we might be very surprised at the resources we have just in this GPS, just in this God Pod squad, that will enable us to navigate through any situation. Yeah. Because I bet you there's some super smart, super talented people in the GPS right now, but we're not necessarily aware of your skills, right? So, yeah. I like that. Many hands make light work. This is true. And real rappers did do it for the love. Huh. But yeah, absolutely. And also not just I want to say not just in front of the camera. I'm sure there's some of y'all that got skills behind the camera, uh, whether it be lighting, whether it be, as a grip, as a set builder, whatever the skill that you may have to add on. We need everyone, when it's time to come together and, bring what they have of value to the table. Can't spell Allah without spelling all. Okay. So we need us all. Yes. Any more New Year's resolutions from you people? New Year's resolutions that you plan to stick to? When I went to the gym this morning, I was like, I wonder if the January 1st myth is true. Like, is there going to be a bunch of people in the gym today fronting like, yeah, that's my New Year's resolution? Is the album Building 7 out yet? No, that's part of my New Year's resolution, to get that motherfucker out, because y'all need to hear it. Y'all need to hear the whole damn thing. And when I went there, I don't know if it's because my gym might be a more serious gym. It's not, I feel like the LA Fitnesses or the Planet Fitness or Crunch, those are a little more, I feel like, mainstream. Oh, that's funny. We're going to talk about that in a second. Those seem a little more mainstream. I go to Powerhouse, and it seems like Powerhouse is where, like, real gym motherfuckers, that people that are serious about going to the gym, that's where the fuck they go. So it didn't seem overly crowded this morning or anything like that. But I don't know. Let me know. What did your Planet Fitness look like? What did oh shit. Hello. Truly Zambian has entered the studio. Let me put my headphones on. Oh, shit. Wait, hang on. Now, hang on. Before I get to you, something was going weird earlier. Or it wasn't letting me hear. Okay, I'm going to see which headphones it'll let me hear Zambian from. 1, 2. Is it this one? Zambian.
Peace, peace, peace. What's up, good Lord Jamal?
Hang on, it's this one. Let me check. Let me switch. Peace. How you, brother?
Microphone check 1, 2.
Yes, sir. I can hear you. Do you hear me?
What's good? I can hear you loud and clear.
Nice, nice, nice. Happy New Year. Happy Gregorian New Year, bro.
How you living, dog?
I'm great. I'm great. I hope you come here to give us some science on the Ethiopian New Year that you were talking about a little while ago.
Sorry to pull the chat backwards, but yeah, I'm just gonna drop a little knowledge.
No, please. We want you to navigate. Go ahead.
Yeah, so in the Ethiopian calendar, right now we're in the year 2018. So that's something that took a while for me to get my mental around when I first went to Ethiopia. And they tell me we're in this year. So their calendar is different, and even the time that as they tell it, like during the course of the day, is different. They don't follow what is the traditional.
Really? Even the time is different.
Exactly. So you always have to be on alert when somebody says, "I'll see you at 1 o'clock." You have to be.
You like which 1 o'clock? Ethiopian 1 o'clock?
Or as they say, international. So you've always got to clarify. So it's really interesting.
Now, what would be I mean, I know there's time differences, right? In time zones, right? But you're saying it's like, do they have different hours in a day type of shit?
So their 1 o'clock is what we would say is 7 o'clock. So if someone's saying, "I'll see you at 2 o'clock," they're talking about 9 o'clock. So it takes a while to get your head around it, man. I still get confused. Confused. When I go back there after I've been there a few days, then I come around to it again. And I'm like, all right, yeah, now I know I can just off the top of my head just say what time I'm talking about.
Let me ask you this. Does the Ethiopian calendar, do they still have 13 months or do they have 12 months?
The Ethiopian calendar, they've got
how many months in a year in the Ethiopian calendar?
I think it's still 12. I think it's still 12, but I just can't remember.
Because they say originally it was 13 months, and that's what really makes the most sense. Each it was 13 months, each with 30 days, which makes like 364 days, and then 1 day of rest, 365. But all of this fooling around with the calendar, 28 days here, 31, that's what the Gregorian shit. So I was just wondering if the Ethiopian calendar got messed with in that kind of way. You understand?
The Ethiopians they've kept to tradition.
Somebody said it's 13.
Yeah, so I was going to say the Gez calendar has the 12 months, all 30 days long, but then because you then form a 13th month by following that. Yeah. So they've kept it to their own system. So
now another question. What is the weather like in September in Ethiopia?
In September,
is that a time of renewal in Ethiopia? Is that like their spring, or you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I would say that's a time of renewal because that's when it's raining. Because I tend to always go in September, and that's when it's cooler, and that's when you get the Ethiopian flower in bloom, and that's
And
the
I don't want to cut you off, but what do they say here in America? April showers bring May flowers. You see what I'm saying? So April, which is our spring, is also a time of rain, which brings the flowers. You see? So what I'm saying is it probably does make sense that in Ethiopia, the new year would be in September if their spring is in September. You understand what I'm saying? I'm saying that spring is when the new year should renew. Now, spring could vary between where you're at geographically, but spring should be the mark of the new year. I mean, because doesn't it make sense, right? That's when things renew. That's when animals come out of hibernation. That's when other animals start having sex and like seriously, like yeah. That's the time.
In the Ethiopian New Year, that's one of the traditions for that time of year is girls children carrying that flower in bloom, the yellow flower, which is the flower of Ethiopia, and actually that's what Addis Ababa means. It means new flower.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it all ties in with what you're saying. That's the time of as I mentioned earlier, in Kutatash. That's the time of renewal.
Say that again. In Kutatash.
In Kutatash.
See, once you say it, when I try to read it, I was stumbling over it. But once I hear somebody saying in Kutatash, I can just say it. You see what I'm saying? I'm good at hearing some shit and then being able to repeat it. When I was trying to read, I'm like, how the fuck do you say what? In Kutatash. And that means again?
So it means the gift of jewels. It's from from Ethiopian history. On 11 September is when Queen of Sheba returned to Ethiopia from visiting King Solomon in Jerusalem, and so that means the Inkutatash means the gift of the jewels, because it's said that when the Queen of Sheba returned, she brought gifts of jewels from King Solomon.
So now, of course, when I hear you say September 11th, September 11th was made famous by another event. Knowing that September 11th is the new year in Ethiopia, and then when September 11th happened here in America, did you put any correlation to that and say, that's kind of weird that they would do this on the Ethiopian New Year, or it didn't? Maybe you didn't have that science at that time.
I at that time I was too young, didn't have that knowledge. So I didn't put that.
So now that I say that to you, what do you think about that? Do you think it's just coincidence, or
coincidence? You have to question, is anything a coincidence? You have to question some of these things, man. So
is anything a coincidence? Now, when I watch the first 48 and all these detective shows, these motherfuckers will tell you no. There is no fucking coincidences per se. You know what I mean? When it seems like a coincidence, it probably is connected to some shit. Yeah, so that's when that just jumped out at me when you said September 11th. I'm like, because you got to understand, we're dealing with people who understand ritual. They understand history the way that we don't understand ritual or history, So they could be doing certain things to usurp energy that is, in the universe at a certain time that,
godly.
Yeah. Got to watch these bastards.
So it's September 11th, and only in a leap year, it's September 12th. So, but this year will be September 11th.
Well, damn, why would they have a leap year, though? See, that seems like a leap year is part of the fuckery of the Gregorian calendar. why would the Ethiopians have a leap year if they didn't do
That's
that?
it. The Ethiopian calendar, the Ethiopian, daylight and dark is perfectly balanced. It's exactly balanced. So
Every day.
yeah. So that's we'd have to get a real Habesh on to explain the
Oh,
deep,
I
deep.
already know why that is. But you can't explain that on a ball. But anyway, that's a whole other conversation. That's interesting. That's interesting. But yeah, I'm still thinking about just leap year though. Leap year always never really made sense to me. Like leap year, what the fuck? You're gonna just leap a fucking it's just some weird shit. It's some weird shit. It seems like, you know, the devil fucking with the calendar to try to gain more time. And I just, yeah, I don't know why they would do that.
Yeah, no, it's just something when you mentioned about the new year should start in spring, and I thought, you know what, that reminds me, the Ethiopian calendar starts in September, which is it's when you're moving from the rainy season and more, as you said, like more like spring like weather. That's when that's commencing, and as I said, that also brings with it the flowers in bloom, and the it's the time of rebirth. So it makes perfect sense.
But see, that also shows how self-centered we are in a way, because in my mind, spring is the same time everywhere. You know what I mean? You wouldn't think that maybe one place has a spring at this time of the year, and but yeah, it's different in different places, depending.
Yeah, exactly.
Very, very interesting.
Now
So
you gotta get out there to Ethiopia sometime, Lord. You gotta
oh
get out
man,
there.
I'd love to get out there, man. I like I said, I've only place in Africa I've been to was Nigeria.
You
And
gotta get out to
I don't know
Ethiopia.
if that's the first place you need to go to when you go to Africa. I don't know if that's the first place you need to go to if you want to be impressed by Africa. I feel like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, nah, for you, if you go to Ethiopia, man, there's so much history there, so much history. Get out to some of these historic places, that will tell you the history of man, the origins of man. Get out to Lalibela, places like that, and
Yes.
you'll have a spiritual awakening, as they say.
Isn't that where they said the Ark of the Covenant is at, Lalibela?
Yeah. So Lalibela, you'll find all the churches, churches that were carved into the rock. They're actually UNESCO listed now, so they're protected sites. But yeah, definitely. Uganda is also amazing. As I said earlier this year, I was in Uganda.
I heard Tanzania is very nice.
Yeah, Tanzania as well. Zanzibar is popular. But yeah, I mean, it's just amazing. So I'll see. I'm going to see if I can get to Zambia myself later in the year. I'm going to be in Colombia in a couple of weeks.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. What you doing in Colombia? Are you married, sir?
No. Just vacation.
Uh-huh.
Colombia. That's at the moment. That's the only thing that's on the calendar.
But Colombia is the new Dominican Republic. You know that, right?
Is it?
And do you know what I mean by that?
I can imagine.
Here in America, a lot of dudes was going to Dominican Republic because, the ladies was cheap and loose, and I heard and fine, and I heard in Colombia it's worse.
Oh wow! All right, okay.
I heard they bad out there, and they love you long time.
I'm going there for coffee.
So I know a few people. Yeah, I'm going to Colombia. I knew this one dude. He damn near fucked up his rap group. He kept going back to Colombia so much that he couldn't get nothing recorded with his group, where these niggas ended up kicking him out the group type of shit. Crazy.
Yeah, hey, if you have no focus and no control, it can take over your soul.
Yes, it could. I've never been to Colombia. I've been to Brazil, but never been to Colombia. You got any New Year's resolutions?
New Year's resolutions, man. I don't really do New Year's resolutions. It might sound corny, but you know, whether it's New Year or it's any other day of the year, it's all the same to me. If I put my mind to it that I want to do this or I'm going to change this, I'll do it.
Damn.
Don't
I was going to
necessarily-
say the same exact thing. If I want to put my mind to something and I say I'm going to do this, it doesn't fucking matter the date, the this and that, da 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 da. I'm going to fucking do it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just going to do it, and I'm going to put my, you know,
Yes, sir.
I'm going to put all my energy and make that shit come to life.
Exactly.
And I feel like this is the science and the lesson that a lot of us need to learn. You know, we're creators, but we have to, know and believe in ourselves and our powers, and know that when we put our mind to some shit, that we can create whatever it is we want to create.
Exactly. I feel it ties in with the conversation just before Christmas, where you were saying for people not to buy into the whole thing of Christmas time, spend, and it's the same thing. It's like we just get brainwashed into Christmas time. You should be spending all your money on buying things. Doesn't matter what it is, just buy stuff. And then New Year's comes around. Oh, it's New Year. You should make New Year's resolutions and do this. And again, it's part of, it's like a mind control thing, as opposed to people just thinking for themselves, like, I can do this when I want to do it anytime. I don't need to be almost given permission.
Yeah. It's crazy because I'm not a Christian, but Christmas is supposed to be about Christ,
Mm-hmm.
And it's just funny how Christ has been removed from Christmas and been just replaced with material things. You know what I mean? Just, you're worrying if it's going to snow. You're worrying about the presents and the sleigh bells and the lights and the Christmas trees, everything else but what it was supposed to be about originally.
Mm-hmm.
And that's to take, the spiritual aspect away from the celebration. Holiday is really supposed to be holy days, right?
Yep.
But they even change the name so that you don't even feel like holy days. You don't want to deal with nothing holy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and somebody said it before as I was saying it. Turkish Death said, we need holy days, not holidays. Yes, exactly. We don't need Satan's claws. Okay. And it's funny, they'll give you holidays and Satan's claws, and then right after that, they want you to do something virtuous with a resolution, a New Year's resolution, after you just did an unvirtuous thing by taking the spirituality out of the holy days.
Adding on to that, have you noticed Christmas seems it's more about gluttony. It's about overindulgence, whether it be food, drink, spending, money, it's gifts, it's all overindulgence and gluttonous. And then, as you said, the New Year rolls around and we're all of a sudden now talking about, doing something virtuous and make a New Year's resolution. Nah, it shouldn't be like that.
And you know what's funny? You talk about gluttony, right, on Christmas, but now they got other foul shit to tie into Christmas. Now, here's something that I didn't know about that I feel like I just heard. It's probably been around, but I'm just hearing about it because I'm not a Christmas dude like that. Y'all heard about this white elephant thing during Christmas? Ever heard of this?
No.
Zambian? So apparently, white elephant gifts, right? Hey, Queen Crafts. Peace, Queen. Happy New Year. You know I love you. Corporate paganism equals profits. Yeah, so a white elephant, right? It's supposed to be an inexpensive gift, right? You know, you buy a gift for, you know, maybe less than $50, right? You put it in a pool or whatever, right? They call people's names, but then, like, you might pick a gift, but then you also have the option of stealing a gift from someone else. Like, what? Why are you promoting so you might have a good gift that you got from the white elephant, and then somebody see your gift, and what do they have? They're jealous or they're envious of your gift, and then they steal from you. Now, one gift can only be stolen twice. It can't be stolen more than twice or some shit like that. But what I'm saying, who the fuck came up with some shit like that? And why would you promote, you know, envy and jealousy and thievery on the holy days? Like, why would you do that? That's crazy. No?
It's again just a reflection of society, you know, self before everything else.
Crazy. Yeah, I don't like that shit. You know what I mean? I didn't like that shit at all. I was like, who the fuck? And it seems like that's some new shit. Because, I mean, again, I grew up in a Jehovah's Witness household, right? So I ain't been celebrating Christmas type of shit, okay? But I don't remember hearing my friends who celebrated Christmas talk about white elephant or any shit like that. You understand what I'm saying? I feel like that's some new shit. And so they're just introducing more pagan, you know, or just negative rituals to go with, you know, what used to be a holy day.
Yeah.
And now they turn it into a time of stealing and gluttony and envy. Crazy. Well, shit, anything else on your mind that's going on out here in these streets, Zambian, that you think we need to talk about?
No, man. No, I was just listening along to the show and just wanted to drop that little bit of information on the Ethiopian New Year. Happy regular New Year to everybody else, everybody listening and watching the stream. But yeah, you know, just to reiterate the message, you don't need to make no New Year's resolution just to do what everybody else is doing or what you were told to do. You set your mind to do something, do it. That's
just do it. And you're the only one that could really hold yourself accountable. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, when people are not watching and all that type of shit, what you do at those times really determines the quality of a man or a woman. So yeah, get out there and do your shit and fuck this January 1st shit and just do what you're supposed to do.
Yes, sir. This is the first show you've done for
since the 26th.
I was going to say you haven't had a chance to talk about that I don't even know if you want to call it a boxing match, Anthony Joshua, Jake Paul.
Let's bring that up real quick. Let's bring that up because some other shit has transpired since then. Yeah. So yes, Anthony Joshua, Jake Paul fight. Anthony Joshua breaks Jake Paul's jaw right? In two places type of shit.
Broke some
Many
teeth.
broke teeth. Many are saying that he went against his contract because many people believe that all of these Jake Paul fights are rigged and that he tells these people, hey, relax, don't fucking go crazy on me type of shit. I'm a YouTuber. I'm not a real fucking boxer, right? So, and they say apparently when he starts sticking his tongue out, that's supposed to be the signal like, hey, you hit me too hard, relax. So he did that to Tyson. He did that to Joshua. But Joshua said, fuck you and your tongue, nigga. I'm going to knock your tongue out your mouth, you bitch ass nigga. Right? So he might have went against the contract or whatever it is, right? Broke his jaw. But now here, we were just talking about coincidence, right, Zambian? We're just talking about coincidence. So now he does that. And coincidentally, 2 weeks later, he's in a fatal car crash where two of his mans die.
Closest.
Two of his closest men. He could have died. I'm sure they probably, whoever set it up, thought he was going to die. They probably thought everybody, it was going to be a left eye situation or some shit up in there. But he fucked around and lived. But now what's the coincidence of that? What's the coincidence? In my mind, I'm saying that this nigga Jake Paul, got mad.
Out Juju Joshua.
I'm saying the nigga got mad and set some shit up. I'm not, I don't think it was no juju. He did old-fashioned white boy sabotage. Like, oh yeah, he's gonna be where? In Nigeria, driving in this car at this time? Cut the brake line, motherfucker. You know what I mean? Some shit.
Because it like when I saw it, it didn't even make sense to me. The original story came out was that your man's was overtaking, and there was that like big rig parked on the side of the road. So I'm thinking, if he's parked on the side of the road, how did an overtake end up all the way out of his lane? And it was just crazy. It looked crazy.
Super crazy. When I heard that, the first thing I thought was like, yo, that shit sound wild suspicious. Like, he just beat this motherfucker ass. Because you got to understand, like, this dude, Jake Paul, I mean, he's like a super millionaire right now. Like, you know what I mean? And you got to understand how money and power can intoxicate the mind to the point where you feel like you're untouchable and you can do anything. Mm-hmm. And your ego will get so inflated. And when you feel like a motherfucker has, played you and bruised your ego, motherfuckers is ready to do whatever. Whenever to whoever, however, you understand? So I can see a motherfucker. Oh, he think he gonna break my jaw? I'll kill him. How you gonna kill him?
I'm trying to.
I don't know. I'm gonna figure it out. But he gonna be in Nigeria.
I'm just gonna look it up because didn't Logan, the brother, didn't he say I'm gonna get revenge for my brother after the fight?
See, somebody said, sorry, Logan Paul curse. Nick Roplays just said that. Logan Paul curse. Look that up. Yeah. Did he say that? I don't know. Jake Paul curse. This isn't the first time. Google it. And somebody saying Anthony Joshua curse. Which one is it? Jake Paul curse or Anthony Joshua curse?
Logan Paul vows revenge.
Oh, shit. What does it say, sir?
Logan Paul could be seen chirping at Joshua ringside. But the British heavyweight had the last laugh. It's good, bro. You're the old guy now. That's crazy. He could be heard saying. So what are you going to do?
Mm.
After being backed up in the corner, blah, 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 Logan Paul continued to be a menace after the fight. He tried to snatch Joshua's chain.
Who? Logan did?
Yeah. Tried to snatch his chain. Logan Paul vows revenge following brother's brutal knockout. In the wake of the defeat, Logan Paul has reportedly vowed to step into the ring to avenge his brother's honor. Okay. Well, maybe he decided to handle it another way.
Now, see, that's just they're trying to get another payday out of this shit. If your brother who's bigger than you couldn't beat his fucking ass, what the fuck you think you gonna do? You gonna get in the ring and do what? You the worst of the two boxers, motherfucker. Sit your dumb ass down. What the fuck are you talking about? Now, real quick, because somebody brought this up earlier and now I thought about it. Have you been following what's going on in Minnesota with these Somalians and this daycare center shit?
Vaguely, because there was a lot going on. They were getting it mixed in with allegations about Ilhan Omar's wealth, like just exploding exponentially in the time that she's been in office. But yeah, I just kind of have one eye on it, one eye not on it.
A1 Drizzy said, I'm from Minnesota. For shit, feel free to come on up and talk about it, Drizzy. So yeah, they, apparently these motherfuckers is taking advantage of loopholes in the system. They they getting like 2.6 million towards these daycare centers, and when they go to them, ain't no fucking children in there. All these people are talking about they all have like autistic children so that they're able to get all this money and da 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 da. Yo, it's some crazy shit going on. Then now somebody earlier said delineation is working because a lot of these motherfuckers is now trying to act like they American black. Like they put one Somali dude or whatever up there to talk about the shit, right? And they threw a fucking Yankee cap on this motherfucker, yo. It was hilarious. Like they put a Yankees hat on him to try to make him look more American black. You know what I mean? And the motherfucker looked mad young. Like, you run a fucking daycare center? Like, yo, this shit was crazy. Let me see if I can find a fucking picture of this guy.
The thing about this whole thing, again, you got to be careful with misinformation and misdirection. What I don't like is they're trying to put, whether you want to say black or African faces, as the whole scheme was set up by a white woman who I believe was arrested and charged and imprisoned for it. And they're now making this big show of the Somalis in Minnesota are running this out of control fraud and scam and program, when at the same time you've had this kind of anti-African, anti-Somali rhetoric coming from the White House. I would say, I don't want to turn it into a whataboutery, but didn't your man, who was it who stole the federal funds that was meant to be for underprivileged children? The footballer, was it Brett Favre?
I'm not sure. Oh yes, so, Brett Favre. Yes, he did do some shit like that.
He stole hundreds of millions or whatever it was as well, and that was not a peep from anybody. None of this outrage when the white boy was, pilfering, as somebody posted in the chat earlier, pilfering funds that were meant to be for, underprivileged children. So, streets got to eat. If the Somalis found a loophole. Bless them.
Now look at my man right here, though. Look at my man right there. It's like, come on, man. They tried to throw a Yankee hat on dude to like that was definitely a ploy. Like, look at his glasses. Look, just damn. I wish you could see him talking. He looks like that's the first time a Yankee hat has ever touched his fucking head. Dead ass. He probably don't even know who the New York Yankees are. I'm just saying. But they put that shit on him to just make him a little more relatable, I guess, you know? To the American blacks. And it was just a little, I just thought that was funny. Just the way he looked. With them glasses and that fucking hat on. And I was just like, come on. It's to me, it's like it's what the Democrats do. Like you saw when the white ladies was wearing the African garb and all that during the election and all that. You know, they'll just dress some shit up to try to placate to whatever demographic they're trying to placate to. And that just seemed like he might have got some advice from some of those type of people.
Yeah, every time I see things like that, I do question it. Like I said, I question everything. There's no coincidence. You start thinking, hang on, this is all a bit too convenient. Why are you suddenly thrusting this guy to the forefront? As you said, throw a Yankees hat on him, and is it misdirection? You know, is he the sacrificial lamb? What's going on?
Maybe. I mean, probably. Here's the thing. America is ripe with fraud. Like, I think America probably runs on fraud. There's plenty of slush funds out there. You see that they like for, you know, people, if you know, like, let's just say something like the Smithsonian. If they have a section, right, that they get money for like dinosaur research, that's a slush fund. That's some shit where they just making you think they're researching dinosaurs, which never fucking existed. And now they take that money and do whatever the fuck they want to do with it. Like, that's fraud. That's fraud. NASA, $60 million a day. Fraud. But nobody's talking about that shit. Everybody will now look at these Somalians or whatever the case may be, trying to get, first of all, even if they were doing fraud, right, which I don't agree with, I'm just saying there has been generational fraud from many other cultures. You know, the Italians have been committing fraud in the sanitation, you know, businesses and shit like that. You said what?
The unions.
Yes, exactly. In unions, they're known for that. You know, the Irish used to commit. I mean, all these. I'm not gonna say used to commit. All these motherfuckers was committing fraud, finding loopholes in the system in order to try to get over on a system that they felt like was getting over on them. So in a way, many would say what they're doing is the American way.
The American way, baby. That's what I'm saying.
Many would say this is the American way. Yeah, that's what the fuck we doing. Like,
we came from Somalia, we had nothing, and now we're living the American dream.
Right, from a lie. You know, like from a lie or from, you know what I mean? Whatever the case may be. The same way y'all be coming up off of a lie and all that type of shit. But I guess it looks worse now because melanated people are doing it. And it's melanated people who are not from here. You see?
That's a crucial point you just made, because I was actually thinking about this earlier. I can't remember what triggered the thought, but I was saying it's the difference between certain crimes is crimes of melanated people are made more visible because we don't have the luxury of being in the upper echelons and controlling the puppet strings. We aren't invisible, whereas the crimes of those who are invisible. The crimes that Pelosi committed, the enrichment that they're accusing Ilhan Omar of now, Pelosi, her wealth exploded in the time that she's been in
all
office.
Of their wealth explodes, Zambian. AOC's wealth exploded. They all do that shit.
Exactly.
Nobody comes into that shit and walks out with less money than they started. They all come out with more money than they started. Hakeem Jeffries was a regular motherfucker from Brooklyn. Regular fucking politician, and just grow, and now he's the fucking Speaker of the House or whatever the fuck he is. Like, come on. What's his worth right now? How'd he get all that bread? Just from being there? Like, come on. These jobs are only supposed to pay like 100-something thousand a year. How they coming millionaires out of this shit?
And that rug can be pulled from under him anytime. As soon as you're falling out of favor, they go, you're going to be the sacrificial lamb, Blackie. And the rug is pulled from under you, You don't get to retire and just ride off into the sunset like Pelosi and the likes of their ilk.
Facts. Facts. Yeah, I mean, listen. At the end of the day, if fraud is being committed, I feel like it should be Americans doing it. You know what I mean? Like, there's plenty of Black Americans that could use some of that fraud money. But here's the thing, a lot of us are so complacent that we've lost the ingenuity to do some shit like that. See, these people are coming from countries where, they can't be complacent. They got to get up their ass and come up with some shit in order to fucking eat. Like it's life or death. A lot of us, we got the government, taking care of us. We're on welfare and all this type of shit. So it's not as expedient sometimes for us to come up with these schemes and shit like that in the Black community.
And you're not given the opportunity. You're not given, you still need an in. That's the thing.
Right. And a lot of times they will give the in to foreigners when it comes to receiving grant money or loans and stuff like that they won't give to Black Americans who live here.
And that's probably, thinking on from that, they're probably thinking, okay, look, we'll let the Somalis in on the jokes because they'll probably be going back to Somalia anyway. They're not going to stay here and, change the status quo.
Right.
What we can't have is some Black person of this soil starting to become a symbol of progress. We can't allow them to climb up the ranks,
And see what you said, right? You said they're not going to stay here, right? And this is why I feel like they like immigrants, because again, they don't want us to build shit up here in our own communities. So they bring these people from Mexico, the Caribbean, Africa, places like that, where once they get their bread, they send that shit home. They don't do it here to build infrastructure here. They send that shit home so that their shit could be better at home. And so they know that. That's why they'll give them the chip, because if we had the same chances, we'd send our shit home too, but our shit is right here. Our home is right here. So we'd be using that to improve our own communities. They're like, well, fuck it. If they're going to improve a community, it's not going to be over here, God damn it. Let them send that money back to DR. Let them send that money back to Jamaica or all these other places, anywhere but Chicago, anywhere but Harlem, anywhere but Brooklyn, anywhere but the Fifth Ward. Hell no. Yeah.
Exactly. No, it makes people easier to control. Someone who's hungry is easier to control.
Well, yes and no. Somebody who's hungry, you can control them, but you're going to have to give them food. You see what I'm saying? And then you will control them with food. Mm-hmm. You see, just like an animal. So now do what I say or you don't get the treat. You see? But somebody that's hungry, who you're not giving food, is dangerous. Somebody who's hungry, if you're not giving them food, will bite you, will fucking take your food. You see? That's why you gotta keep them hungry to a degree, but then still feed them.
Drip feed them.
Drip feed them. Or you gotta keep giving them the fish, but never teach them how to fish.
Exactly.
You see? I'll keep giving you bread, but I'm never going to teach you how to bake or how to make an oven. Because that would put me out of business. Like, it's really crazy how they make us have to pay to live when we really shouldn't have to. Why do you have to pay to fucking live in a house? Because you want somebody else to build it for you. You want to, you want them to go get the land for you and da-da-da-da-da. All of that shit costs money. You got to go to the supermarkets because you don't want to go out there and plant your own crops, or you don't want to go hunting and all of this type of shit. Oh, shit. A1 Drizzy said, Somalian niggas in Minnesota learn how to get fresh by studying me and my niggas drip. 100. I mean, isn't that how the world learns how to get fresh? Let's keep it real.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's keep it real. The whole world has learned to get fresh from off of the American black, especially the American black man. We done showed most the world what swag or drip and all this other whatever adjective you want to put on it. Everybody want to move like us. Everybody want to have that whatever it is that we have. You know what I mean? That shit that you can't necessarily put your finger on, but you know it's some shit that you want to possess type of shit. And that's my point when I talk about the origins of hip hop and all of that, A1 Drizzy. They learned how to get fresh by studying you and your niggas, right? You and your niggas with some American black dudes. You understand what I'm saying? That are showing up, and it's cool. They can learn from you. But now later on, they better not claim that they created getting fresh. You see what I'm saying? That they created the drip and all of that they fucking were influenced by. This is the shit I'm talking about with the Puerto Rican shit and the hip hop shit. Like, y'all learned how to get fresh. Y'all learned what music was dope and all of that type of shit off of watching and studying us. And because you were in such close proximity to us, that's how you were able to be such good students. And you were the first students. But again, the student is not the teacher, and the student did not build the school. So that's all I got to say about that. God damn it. Well, shit, Zambian, I appreciate you coming on up here.
I appreciate the time, sir. Appreciate the time.
Wrap this up in a minute. Yeah, shout out to you. Shout out to your family, your loved ones, and 2026, we're going to keep this shit going, man. We ain't going nowhere.
Yes, sir. Shout out to the Somali Massive. Do your thing out there.
Yeah, man. Respect.
Yeah, peace, Lord. Thank you for the time. Peace to the chat. We'll catch you all on the rebound.
No doubt. Peace. That's our brother, Truly Zambian. They said YouTube clowns need to stop slandering our women for $40 overseas broads. Hey, they want that economic. They want that economic shit. Somebody said 2026 years for reparations. I don't know about that. No, it's not. Let's be real. If reparations were ever going to happen, it's not going to just happen this year. It's, that would be years down the line. And I think, our reparations, first of all, part of why I think we're not getting reparations is because we're not asking for the right thing. I feel like I've said this before. Y'all motherfuckers keep asking for reparations for the transatlantic slave trade. And when they know that shit wasn't real, when they know that y'all motherfuckers was already here, okay? So y'all keep asking for money for being transported across the fucking ocean when that didn't happen. So they're like, why should we pay for that when that's not what happened? So until y'all motherfuckers realize that you are the fucking Indians and all that type of shit, till y'all start asking correctly, we're not even going to entertain this fucking conversation. That's what I believe it is. You're asking for the wrong thing, okay? Because the fake Indians, they got some shit. They got land. They got fucking, certain protections, certain sovereignty, that they usurped from you, okay? That they pilfered from you, okay? They did a secret Santa on your fucking ass. They did a white elephant on your fucking ass and stole your birthright, okay? Tricked you into thinking that you were from somewhere else, and now you want to be paid for some shit that didn't happen to you. So they just laughing behind your back. They keep asking for money for being stolen. They really need to be asking for money for being lied to. They really need to be asking for money for, whatever the generation was that they damn near exterminated so that they wouldn't be able to tell us the truth. That's the shit you need to be getting reparations for. But reparations in 2026, nope. Not the way y'all motherfuckers is asking for it. Just give us equal rights. I mean, do we not have equal rights? You as a black person, do you have the right to go anywhere? Or are there still places you can't go because you're black? Because we're not playing all this victim shit either. Like, I'm tired of that shit too. Let's stop with the victim mentality, black people, and keep saying the same shit that we've been saying since the 60s and all that type of shit. You can drink out of any fucking water fountain you want. You can go to any fucking bathroom you want. You can move into damn near any fucking neighborhood you want. So what equal rights are we talking about here? Now, is there always discrimination depending on where you're at. You know what I mean? I'm sure if you was a white person that worked at Dunkin' Donuts, you'd get discriminated against because there's mad Indian people in there. Right? In a country where that's dominated by white people, black people get discriminated against. But in this day and time, we do have equal rights. So let's stop saying shit like that. Okay? Let's stop saying shit like that. You can go into any restaurant, any fucking supermarket. Yeah, there's still sundown towns, but that's like some unsaid shit. You see what I'm saying? There's still racist bars or some shit here in New York City or whatever the case may be. But it's not that you don't have the right to go there. You see? You just don't want to go there. But you have the right to go to a sundown town. You just don't want to go there as a black person for the chances of some shit popping off is some bullshit. Yes, I understand about sundown towns. Jamar, I'm a truck driver, and they have sundown towns, which means they don't want blacks there. Yes, they don't want blacks there. But do you have the right to be there? Yes, you do. See, there were laws once that said you as a black person couldn't be somewhere. You couldn't drink from somewhere. You could not travel. No matter how much money you had, you couldn't get in first class or none of that bullshit. You understand? You couldn't stay at certain hotels, right? So, first of all, sundown towns are what we would call anecdotal, right? They're few and far between, right? How many sundown towns exist? And what's the percentage of sundown towns versus all the other towns that exist in America? What percentage do you think sundown towns would make up of the percentage of towns in America? Seriously. I don't think it would even be 2%. But even if it was, let's say it was 5%, okay, it's 95% of towns that are not sundown towns. And again, a sundown town, it's not that you don't have the right to go there. This is just white people that don't want your ass there and are going to make it as uncomfortable as possible if your fucking ass decide to come. But it's not about rights. So that's all I'm saying. Big Hurt 45. Thank you. He said, white walkers incentivize all foreigners against FBA. And now it came back to bite them. Reparations would have been cheaper. Can't make this up. You know, you might be right. You might be right. First of all, I still don't understand how America has all this money to give to other countries, to give to Israel, to give to all these other countries. But somehow, when it comes to, taking care of its own people, it's a struggle. Or when the conversation of reparations, even though I told y'all probably asking for the wrong thing, but even when the conversation comes up, there's people that act like, oh, America ain't got the money, reparations would bankrupt the country and all this type of shit. Well, how come all the money that they give away to other countries don't bankrupt the country? Why don't we stop giving all that money away? And you know what I mean? and start with paying down on this debt that we talking about? Why is that not even a consideration? Now, do y'all feel like reparations is a right? Do y'all think y'all have a right to reparations? Or is reparations something that may need to be taken? These are questions. These are questions. But I appreciate you, Big Hurt. Appreciate everybody in the GPS. I want to celebrate y'all today because y'all are what make this show move. And I just want to thank y'all. You know, I'd rather have a small dedicated following than a big superficial following, right? I'd rather have a small band of diehard, intelligent, loyal people that rock with me than a bunch of dumb, fickle, wishy-washy, fucking go with the fucking status quo ass people running with me. So, damn, if it's been 9 years, almost 10 years, I know a lot of y'all been here from day one, and I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. And yeah, let's keep this shit going. I ain't going nowhere. Thank you, Turkish Death Threat. I appreciate you. Uncivilized Savage said Africans fist fight sharks from an inner tube to get here. Just to scheme and catch a jokes and go back to their mud huts. It's an international drill. Thank you, Uncivilized Savage. That was funny. You said they fighting sharks from an inner tube. Crazy work. Nah, but again, shout out to all my mods, Queencraft, A1 Drizzy. Shout out member Eli Green. Shout out my brother Truly Zambian for coming up and building with us and adding on, letting us know some science that we didn't necessarily know. Because I ain't going to hold you. I know a lot of shit, but I don't know everything, okay? Tell people I don't know everything, but I know a lot of things. And that's not one of the things I knew. I didn't know the Ethiopian New Year. I didn't know that was their springtime. I didn't know a lot of shit about that. And so I appreciate my boy, Truly Zambian, for coming through and dropping the science. All right, y'all. Well, again, Happy New Year. Happy 2026. We got a lot more to get to in this year. Consistency is the key. You got to keep moving. When you stay still and stay stagnant, that's death. Always move forward. And if you got to move backwards to gain momentum to move forward, at least you're still moving. Whatever you do, just don't stay still. On that, for the God Power with Lord Jamal, I am Lord Jamal, and I will see you next time. Peace.